Hey everybody, happy October, happy Halloween month, happy really official fall here in Northern California. Today I'm here to do a 3-part series with you. My husband and I have been working on some October Halloween recommendations for you. We've been posting them daily on Instagram just in case you want to check them out there. However, today I'm going to do one video of the first 10 books we'll recommend for your October Halloween TBR. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and I hope you're getting some Halloween reading in. So to be honest, Halloween is not my favorite holiday. Never has been, not since I was a child, but my husband absolutely loves it. Our house is always decorated, he's always creating new things, and it is always a fantastic time of the year for him. So he decided he wanted to do this video series with me where we recommended 31 books for October. But obviously I'm not going to do 31 individual videos on YouTube, but I am posting them every day on Instagram, one recommendation. So if you don't follow me on Instagram and you want to get the recommendations every single day, please do so. But I'm going to do 3 videos here as well to give you all of those recommendations, because scary books don't only have to be read in October. It makes it more fun, but you can read them throughout the rest of the year. So as always, get out your pen, your paper, your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books from your local independent bookstore and or get your library to get you a copy as soon as possible. So get ready for books 1 through 10 in my husband and I's Halloween October TBR list. We're going to start with a book that I just hauled not that long ago, but I just started this weekend, and that is Slew Foot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. Nightfire has put this out. That's what's the word I'm looking for? It is part of the Tor family, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Has some amazing artwork in it as well. I'll hold that up for you. I started this. This has one of the creepiest openings that I have read in a really long time. But basically, we're set in, I think, 1666 Connecticut. We are in this small town, this Puritan village, where a spirit or a demon has awoken. Now, the people who are there, sort of the people, they call them the wildlings, sort of call this spirit father. Like, they sort of worship it like anything else. It has like a demonic side, but you know, they have sort of this reverence for it. Now, the Puritans, of course, think it's a demon, think it's the devil, and it does some pretty horrible things. But our main character, Abatha, she has sort of been ostracized. You learn very early in the book that she was sold into marriage. She was not a Puritan when she arrived on American soil. She's struggling to acclimate, and maybe this spirit, this Slewfoot, is her only option, maybe her only friend in everything that's going on. It is a wild ride. I've only just started it, totally loving it. So that's Slewfoot. Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom, out from Nightfire. And thank you both. And I just want to hold this up again because it's so good. Sorry, a little catch in my throat there for a minute. The next thing I'm going to recommend is actually a series of graphic novels. Now, this is Lock and Key. It's by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. And this is a series. So this is just collection 1. There are 5, I believe. There may be more now. I own the first 5. This comic series has also been turned into a really fantastic TV show on Netflix. But basically, we have a family that goes through a tragedy, returns to a family home to sort of move on from that. And they find that there are all of these magical keys, and each key sort of has a different power. but they are not the ones that, they're not the only ones that want these keys. There are people hunting them and want these keys for the power and what they can do. And that's really the apex of the story. That's all you really need to know. I will say that this one is a little bit more graphic than most of the graphic novels that I recommend. So if that is something that is a little bit much for you, you know, stay away. But I think the story is fantastic. It is creepy. It is just really intriguing, and it's just really, really fun. And Joe Hill, I mean, he's a fantastic writer, and the artwork is fantastic. So Lock and Key, welcome to Lovecraft by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. And if you like one, there are at least 5 that you can get your hands on. So this list is going to be rather eclectic. I want to make sure that everybody finds something on it that they like, right? And so we're going to talk now about the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Funny enough, I actually bought for one of the people I work with his new book, The Final Girls, for her birthday. She is celebrating her birthday, and she read it like in no time flat. So I was like, well, you clearly need to get the Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So this is about a woman. She's sort of like, life is just not what she expected it to be. And the one thing that Patricia sort of looks forward to is this book club where they read true crime. And that's sort of the highlight. And they sort of, all of these women are very, very invested. And then a new man moves into town, and then things start to happen. And Patricia starts to think that it's him, and she wants to investigate this. I have read, what else have I read? I've read a couple of Grady Hendrix books. He just has a wit and a humor to him, but also just he's so good at telling a story. I'm probably not doing as good as this. Chris Wolak of the Book Cougars read this book and absolutely loved it. So find her review if you need more. But that's the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, out now from Quirk Books. You can get your hands on it. We're going to go all over the place. I told you we're going to talk about Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This book was everywhere last year, and I believe it was longlisted for the National Book Award for Young Adults Literature. This is the story of a young trans boy who is wants more than anything. His family has a history of being brujas and brujos, which are witches, and they have a way of communicating with the dead. And he wants to be a brujo, but his family still is sort of dealing with an inability to recognize his transition. They're not exactly sure how to deal with that. One night he goes out and he winds up doing some magic that he's not supposed to do, and saves the ghost of a young classmate of his who was murdered, and the crime has yet to be solved. So there's work to be done, and they go on this trek together, and it brings in a bunch of folklore, it brings in a bunch of family history, it brings in a bunch about the main character. I want to say Aiden, that's the author, that's wrong. I think it's Yadriel. And his struggle with sort of, he's still in that point where he's like learning to identify himself and how to communicate that with others, with his family. It's got a sweet sort of love story in it as too. It's a good Halloween read, but it also has so much more to it than just that. So that's Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and this is out from Swoon Reads. Okay. We're going on, this one's a bit darker. That's The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is out here in the US from William Morrow. Just take a moment for that beautiful cover. So this is the story of a man. He is working for ages in the fields. He's a young man with his family, and he gets plucked to become the apprentice to this person who is a binder. And we find out that a binder is a person who can take a memory and put it in a book and hold it forever. Now, some people use this for good purposes and some people do not. And of course, there's going to be that juxtaposition throughout the novel. But what really happened is what happens when he finds a book on the shelf with his name on it and he doesn't remember giving that memory up. What does that mean? Where did it happen? What did it come from? What did he try to forget? That's The Binding by Bridget Collins, out from William Morrow. Okay, this book just came out, and I think you need to get your hands on it right now if you are a sort of spooky horror reader, and that's Summer Suns by Lee Mandelo. I believe, is this their debut novel? You know how sometimes you think you know something, and then I believe this is their debut novel, but don't quote me on it. Sometimes I'm got stuff in my head. This is the story of two young boys. They are best friends, and then they go to college together. Andrew and Eddie did everything together, you know, that sort of story. But then one day, Andrew hears that Eddie has committed suicide, and he is gone. And Eddie doesn't know what to do with it, but Andrew doesn't know what to do with that. But he winds up inheriting from Eddie some things that he doesn't really want. He leaves a roommate that Andrew just doesn't know. He has a friend group that he never asked for. And then also there is a phantom that is haunting Andrew that he can't get rid of. Just take a moment on that cover, by the way. Tor does such a good job with these books. So that is Summer Suns by Lee Mandelo. This is it just came out in September. You can get your hands on it right now. That sounds like an October horror read, so if that's for you, I'm trying to give an eclectic mix. I'm trying to give you a mix of things that you could possibly read this month. But we're going to stay in just flat out scary land, and that is with Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw, also from Nightfire, like Brom's book. I've just sort of gotten into their horror sort of line. And this is a story of a group of people that rent a house for a wedding. But when they get there, you know that house has its secrets, and they're going to come out, and they're going to have it. The house has its agenda. Never trust a house. Never trust a house. It's never good for anybody. But also I love the way it says this. It says, lurking in the shadows is a ghost bride with a black smile and a hungry heart. And she is lonely down there in the dirt. So, that cover is just frightening. I think this may be next up on my read list. I have to tell you, I just started a book this morning. It is so good. I totally absorbed in it. So I had to reshuffle what I was going to read next. But Nothing But Blackened Teeth, Cassandra Khaw, out now, Tor Books. Nightfire by Tor Books. And I believe this is out now, or it's coming out in October. It's like right around the corner if it's not out already. Get your hands on it as we speak. Okay. It seems weird to recommend this author because pretty much she's just always been in the zeitgeist right since she came out with her first book. But Gillian Flynn's Dark Places is the book of hers that I chose to recommend. Now, you could read Shark Objects. You can watch the fantastic miniseries with Amy Adams and Patricia Clarkson, I believe. You can read Gone Girl, which is actually a very good movie. I took my husband on a date to see Gone Girl. Ben Affleck. Oh, and what is her name? I cannot remember the actress. I apologize. But I chose Dark Places because I think it's sort of the book that's maybe a little less known. This is the story of a young girl who watches her mother and sisters, I believe, get murdered. And she becomes sort of the only person to testify against her brother and puts him in prison. Now, later in life, people are trying to find her because they want information, because they want to get him out of jail. I think that's enough. I think that you can trust, if you've read anything by Gillian Flynn, that she will take you on a ride. It will be dark, and at times it will be harrowing, but it will be satisfying by the time you are done with the last page. So this is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, out. This one is out from Broadway Books, but all of her books are out. She is fantastic. Even she had a little novella come out not that long ago too that was also very good. I think I own everything she's written. I think so, and I've read it all, and I've liked it all, so highly recommend. Okay, 2 books left in this recommendation video. Lakewood by Megan Giddens, out from Amistad. So this is one of those more psychologically thriller books. So we have a young woman who's in college. Her grandmother passes away. She was very close to her. But after her grandmother passes away, she finds out that the family is in an immense amount of debt. So she drops out of college and decides to take a job. And that job is to sort of be a guinea pig in a bunch of scientific experiments. Things that give you things that you always thought you wanted. Just sort of chew on that for a minute. But there's always a side effect to that, right? And everything is not what it seems. And that's what our character finds out as she sort of is going through this. what is really going on here and what is happening to the people who are having these experiments done on them. So that's Lakewood by Megan Giddings, out from Amistad Books. And this is a little bit different, but not that different if you're looking for something a little more thriller-esque. And we're going to end this one with a good old-fashioned middle grade read for those who want something that's a little spooky, but also just good fun. And that is the series, this one's Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is out from Little Brown here in the United States. This is a series, so it is a series of books if you like one. But the premise of the first one is that Morgan Crow was born on evening tide, I believe. Eventide, and she now has been told like she is going to, that her 11th birthday, the end of her 11th birthday will be her last birthday. But she gets invited to compete in this competition, and hopefully if she wins it, it will stem the tide of this. This book is just good old-fashioned fun. You will be invested in the characters, you'll like the magic world, you'll love the world building. It was just something I devoured. I want to say I read this whole book, and this is a bit of a chunkster for me, in a weekend. I just really enjoyed it. I don't know why I don't have the rest of them on my shelves yet. So many books, so little time. But Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow, out by Jessica Townsend. Yeah, people, read this. It's really, really good. I'm not going to try to hold this pile of books up because I know I will drop it. But as always, happy Halloween! Happy October if you don't celebrate Halloween. Happy scary book season if that's your jam. I hope that all of these books wind up on your TBR. Please support these authors and these publishers all year round, not only in October, but I hope that these books just inspire you to pick up something different if you haven't done it before. If you are new to my channel, I hope that this inspires you to stick around. I do like to talk about books. If you are a return subscriber, I couldn't do this without you. As always, please, please, please read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Talk to you soon. Bye.